screen. This is the address to get there. Occasionally, recall, you'll get the little pop-up window that asks you to prove you're a human. And if you get that, the username is admin and the password is let me in, all lowercase, all one word. And then that'll get you to this screen. You'll know you're on your login screen because you have the big WordPress W here. You're going to put in your username. I'll put in mine and password. And then log in. Of course. Let's do it the hard way. Okay. Sure, you can update that. You're going to land on your dashboard. Your dashboard is just really a place to check things. Like I see there's a broken link here we want to look at. Tells you how many posts, how many pages, etc. You can drag these things around, put them in different order. Up here at Screen Options, you can decide which things show. For example, I don't care about WordPress events and news on this site. Don't care about Quick Draft, don't need the welcome. The at a glance is kind of nice. The broken link checker is kind of nice. Activity is going to show, activity here is going to show your most recent posts. So that's kind of handy. It also shows the comments on those posts. Okay, zip that back up. That's the end of your tour of the dashboard. Wasn't that fun? Most of your work is going to be done here in My Book Table or in Pages. Let's go to Pages first. Key pages of your site probably looks pretty familiar. Welcome is your home page. This is the header page for the book shopping area, your calendar, the Contact Us page, your blog, and the privacy page, which isn't in your main navigation, but shows up down in the footer of your site. In fact, let's go look. Your site, here's all the pages that we just discussed. And down here at the footer is where you'll see that privacy page will show up. The Report Technical Challenges is a link to me, as you can see here. That's, if people see bugs on the site, they can tell me, I'll just fix them. You don't have to worry about it. I think we went through all of this. You're going to be editing this a little bit because this is going to be, what's coming up next, and there's only room for 2 of them. Whereas over here on the calendar, you have room for more, and currently I know about 3, so that's how many are there. You see we got hook, line, and sinker put in here. Let's just say that you decided you didn't like how that was lining up. You didn't like how there's too much text for the book, or for example, let's just say you want to edit this page. We're going to enable the Visual Builder. And what that's going to do is take this site, take the page, make it look exactly like it looks, but now it's editable by you. And you know that you're in that because it says Exit Visual Builder, which it wouldn't say if you needed to enter it. Also, because when you mouse over things, you get all these nifty boxes and stuff. Blue boxes and green boxes, I'm going to just kind of say those belong to me at this point. I'm happy to teach you how they work later, but we're going to start out with the basics. Inside, you get these gray boxes, and those are things you can edit. So the wheel here edits it. Now you'll see that the editing tool showed up here on the side. That's because I have this icon selected. If I choose this one, it floats over the top, so you have lots more room to do what you're doing, but it covers what you're doing, which I don't like. So I use this icon here, which glues it to one side or the other and lets me work. So here you can see the word calendar. If I changed it to this, you would see the typo show up. If I wanted to save that change, I come down here to the green check mark, save. If I wanted to kill it, pretend it never happened, I go to red X, which discards everything. And then you also have undo and redo. So you can play with those. If I wanted this to link to something, all I would do is click on the link button here and paste in where I want it to go. Then I say, do I want that to open in the same window or in a new tab? Well, my rule of thumb on this is if you're linking to another page within your site, you want it to open in the same window. If you're linking to something on another website, you do it in a new tab. So when they're done and they close that tab, your site is still there. That's pretty much all you need to know about this box. I'm just going to cancel it because we didn't really do anything meaningful. And you'll see that there's these gray boxes everywhere. This is another text one. It looks just like this one did. This is an image. If I click on the little gear wheel, if I wanted to change that image, I'd click on it. And over here in the media library are all the pictures we currently have uploaded to your site. So if you wanted to use a different picture, you could. If you wanted to use a picture from your computer, you could literally go over to your computer and just drag it in over this window, and it's going to add it. So you can make changes there. Now in this case, I didn't do anything I wanted to save, so I'm just going to click the X to get out and the X here to get out. Again, I could link that if I wanted to. Dun, dun, dun. So all of these are editable. You just want to mouse over to remember, you're editing in the gray. So if I want to edit that text, go into the gray. If I want to edit this text, go into the gray. You want to edit the picture, go into the gray gearbox. If you wanted to add an entire event, if you need room for more than 3 events, or you need to get rid of an event, maybe there's only 2 on the horizon, then I'll let you play with my green boxes. They really work the same way. If you need to delete it, hit the trash can. If you just want to duplicate it, this is duplicate. Boom, click that. And now I have 2 identical Aberdeen art walks. I'm going to get rid of one of them. Boom. Now I only have 3 events again. So pretty simple to add more here or delete as you see fit. This picture works the same way as the other picture. Just get in here and mouse over. The reason that it's green here instead of gray is because this module is set up to be repeated on multiple pages if we want to. So if we put it in multiple places, which I haven't, when you edited it in one place, it would edit it in all the places that this hook, line, and sinker setup here is on your site. So don't let the green bother you. It's not actually being used as multiples right now, so you can pretend it's just gray. The $15 here is actually a button that takes us over to shopping. We'll come back to that. These things you edit exactly the same way if you want to get in there and edit them. Now here's the important thing. See this purple dot down here? Boom. This lets you, this is things that happen to the entire page. So I can delete the entire page, I can edit the entire page in another way, look at page settings. You're not really going to play with these. But this one over here, this green save button, is critically important. If you don't save here, all the work you've done is gone. So click that purple button to get the save to show up, and every few minutes just go down and click the save. It's not going to hurt to keep on saving it. There is an autosave employed. It's okay, it's not fabulous. So I think it's going to keep getting better, and the time's going to come where we don't have to obsess about this, but right now I'm kind of being obsessive about clicking that save button. This over here lets you look at your site in different ways. Right now we're looking at it on a desktop. Let's go look at it on a tablet. So this, oops, sorry, back over here, tablet, okay. So now we're looking at what it looks like on a tablet. You'll see your navigation has changed. It's still there. And all of the little blocks that you had all over have stacked up and added themselves to this kind of a presentation. And if we go to the phone view, it gets even better. The phone view and the tablet view aren't that different. They just obviously skinnier. It's kind of important to look at this if you make like big title changes or something that might wrap funny that you're concerned about. So you just take a quick peek in, and this is an estimation, right? It's not going to be exact because everybody's phone and monitor and everything's different. But for example, if you really cared that Old Town Coffee Cafe was on a new line, you could put it on a new line. And now let's see what it does over on the desktop. And does that look weird? Maybe, maybe not. And now you see that I'm actually editing right here in the screen, which you can do. Make sure you click save. Do it for itty bitty little things like that, because do it and hit save. But if you're doing a ton of editing, go into the Gearbox, because the software likes that better, and there's less chance that you're going to lose work. So that's that story. Now I just saved again. I'm all done. At this point, I can close the window. I can exit the Visual Builder. I can do whatever I want. Say I want to go edit another page. Like, let's go back to that home page and scroll down to that same Meet Jen Bono. So once again, I enable the Visual Builder. Scroll down to where I want to be. There's that purple dot at the bottom. Just open it now to remind me to save. There we are. So again, you've got all these little gray editing boxes, and when you click one, you get it over here so that you can see what you're editing. You click it, you save it, or you exit it. It's all the same editing. Just go back into that one. You see, that's just the text. There's the title, the button text, and the content. The link right now is going nowhere, because it isn't really, let's go back and look at it. It isn't really a link. You could make it a link to Google, to a Google map page where 108 First Avenue is, if you want. Just go to Google and find the location and then come back and put the link in the box. But right now it's just a graphical element. It's not designed to be a button. It does call attention. So again, we'll go back over here, and right here is where I would put that link if I wanted to put in a Google map or something like that. The reason there's a pound sign in there is because there has to be something, and the pound sign is HTML's way of saying, yeah, it's acting like a link, but it's not actually going anywhere. And in fact, if I go back to exit the Visual Builder, and I'm discarding those changes, and I go back down here, you'll see that if I click on it, you know, it's not really being a button. It's just hopping people back up to the top. It's not doing anything at all there. Same with this one. It's going to take me back to the top of the page. Getting back into the Visual Builder. Play Jeopardy music. Okay. Here's all your boxes to edit all these different things. You don't like this picture, just click there and you can change it. This is, of course, where you're going to need to be editing. Feature titles. So we're going to have choices when book 5 comes out. Right now you can edit, you know how to edit text now. You just mouse over it till you get the gearbox and get there. You know how to change this, you mouse over it till you get the gearbox. If I wanted there, we're going to have to choose. I'm looking at the green box now, and I'm changing the column structure from 4 to 5. You know, we could add the 5th book that way. It kind of makes the text unwieldy, but it's an option. There are other options. We could put a slider in here so that, you know, people could click an arrow right button and it would move through more. So when the time comes, we can talk about how to do that. For now, you can edit the 4, and Shop Now takes people to the shop page. If you want to edit your highlights, you already know how. Click the gearbox. If you want to edit this, wherever you find gray boxes, feel free to edit. Be choiceful with how you edit my green boxes, and you really should have no reason to be in the blue boxes at this point anyway. Your blog. I'm leaving this page with no changes. I'm okay with that. Okay. You'll see none of your posts have pictures, and that's just because we're on the development server. Once we move you back over to janbonobooks.com, these will show up properly with photos. This button over here lets you go up and down, but there's kind of a neat thing that happens when you get into the posts. In addition to having these buttons that take you to the top and the bottom of the page, Now we have these, which are going to take you to the previous or next post. So a little bit of a preview there. It's just pulling the first bit of text out of the post itself, which is kind of nice. But if I want to change, go to the next previous post. Here it is. Again, these photos are going to show up once we get you moved over to your proper location. Shop. Okay, this page is different. You don't actually edit. If I enable the visual builder, which I will, dun, 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 you get all these errors, right? And we're just not going to do that. We're just going to go back. Let's go back to Giant's Causeway. That's a safe page. Go back to shop. So the reason for that is, and in fact, employing it made it break again. So just remember that you can't enable the visual builder on this page because look what it did to it. For this, I mentioned when we were over here, you could be in pages in my book table. We've been in pages. We just got there by going from the front end of the site instead of the back end of the site. We could get there either way. In fact, let me just do that real quick. Let's go look at the calendar page. Bum, bum, bum. And it says, this is built with Divi. What do I do? So you could edit with the Divi builder and you can get there. There's just more clicks. You edit with the Divi builder and then it'll tell you can go to the visual builder, and that's more clicks than I care to. So I go for the front. I get to pages from the front end. My book table is a separate program that's holding all your books. And the reason we're using this instead of pages or posts about your books is because this hooks nicely into the shopping cart and it keeps your books and your orders all separate. So if I go pick on Just Joshin, why? I don't know why, because I can. Okay, here's the standard template for one of your books. Obviously the title. The permalink, this is going to be the address of the page and it's going to pull from the title. I truncated it to Just Joshin because it wanted to put all this into the address, and that's a really long address. So I just truncated it to Just Joshin. Here is where we put the brief description that I had. This right here is critical. So this is how it becomes a shopping cart item. This is what makes the button that allows it to go into the shopping cart. So you give the button a name. In my case, this case, I named it Just Joshin. And then I put in the price. In this box, and this box only, I put in this short code and to show the shopping cart. So what that little bit of code does is if there's anything in their shopping cart, the shopping cart will show up in this area. If there's nothing there, there will be no cart showing up. And we'll go look at this on the front end in a second so you can see that. Well, heck, let's just go look at it now. So here's Just Joshin. This is the box we were just editing in. There's the title. Once I add this to cart, the cart shows up and it shows one Just Joshin. I can change it to 2 if I want and hit enter or return on the keyboard. And you'll see it change the price there. I can add the book to my Goodreads if I'm a Goodreads member, or if I click this and I'm not a Goodreads member, it'll ask me to become one. Let's go back to the template now. Okay, we know that that generated the title, and we know what that generated, and this short code made the button, and this short code made the cart. Let's keep going down. Here's where we put in the ISBN if we have one. And this will do if when you do the Kindle books. Here's where we drop the cover. So to set the cover image, you can click the image or the button either way. And then just go grab the cover that you want to use. Boom. And click select. And there's the cover, which didn't change because I chose the same one. These are the important things. So you want to actually click each one. This is only going to be relevant if you have one of these previews, like if you're uploading a sample chapter, audio sample, some book trailer. So otherwise just leave everything blank and zip that back up. This is critical. This is where the price goes that shows up right here. It's just showing though, it's not actually connected to your shopping cart. So just make sure that this amount here and this amount here match. If you want to put a sale price in, you can do that. Just turn that off for a second. Okay. If you have a different price for audiobook, you get the idea. Different prices. Right now we're just using the list price. Everything else is blank. For the publisher, this particular one obviously was Smashwords, and it was in 2012. I think I got that off Goodreads. I didn't put a publisher URL because I think you are the publisher at this point, but if you wanted to put in a Smashwords link, you could do that. And other, if you want to fill this information out, this is great. You can put in a star rating, all these things, fill them out. It would be great to have them filled out. Why? Well, if we go back to the front end, this is what shows up here. So you want to make sure that as much information is there as you want to put there. Notice that it's tagged as a recommended book. That is done over here in tags. We'll come back to the rest of those. Moving down the page, the buy button. This isn't actually a buy button because we would have to upgrade and pay money to get a button. And then it only is like if you want to buy it on your account, say at Amazon, or your account at, I don't even know if Smashwords is in there. Yeah, it is. So it's not a buy it here on my website kind of button. So this link right here goes to your Goodreads list of all your books on Goodreads. And so if you wanted to change that to the individual book for Just Josh, and you could, I was feeling a little bit lazy, and so I put in the list of all your books with the justified logic that if they like one of your books there, you want them to see all your books there. So do that as you will. You're welcome to play with that. And this shows up as a button. What we're talking about is this button right here. Okay. About the book. Here I put in the exact same text that I put up here, with the exception of I didn't put the shortcode in for the shopping cart. I just put this much in. Go down here again. You could, ideally, this would be different text than the text at the top. I did put the cart there again. Let's go look at it over here because I wanted add to cart to show up again. I want to give them as many opportunities to do that as possible. So like ideally, you know, this is like a preview, the brief intro to the book. And down here is a little bit more in depth about the book. And then this is your about the author. And I can see we probably need to update this already. So we'll go do that in a minute. And then it has this obligatory statement at the bottom that the software automatically put in. Let's go back over here. So that's the about the book section. You can add endorsements here if you have people that recommended your book that you want to get on there. Now this is all about the search engines and the search engines finding your books. I use this consistent format for the title. So all of the books have the title and the subtitle, right? The whole thing right there. And it's going to tell you how many characters you have left. So I truncated that same description that we were using. What's important here is that search engines know how you want them to index this book. So I've chosen at this point to tell them to index it based on the words in the title. You may want to change that. You may want the books to be found by some other terminology like cozy mysteries or well, in fact, we'll look at one of the cozy mysteries. You'll see that I did that. If there's an audiobook resource, if there's a book club resource, go ahead and put it in. On your newest books, I put in a video URL of a video I found of a recent interview. That's where that gets put in. If you want it to go away, you just delete it. And audiobook resources isn't showing up. None of that's showing up because there's no data in it. Let's go look at another book for a sec. Let me go back to the shop. Let's go look at bottom feeders. I broke that page. I'll fix it. So what I was saying about the video, here's the video. And this I added to all 4 of the Cozy Mysteries. And if we go back over here, let's go back to the book list. I forget which one I was on. Bottom feeders? Okay. Book blurb, you see the same short code is there, the short code for the cart. We come down here, these are all filled out. The buy button, this is exactly the same link as in the other one. Again, we have the short code here. The format I was talking about that I used for the for these 4 books, they all say title, Jen Bono, Cozy Mystery, the number, and Southwest Washington Coast, because I'm approaching a different target for them in the search engines. And like I said, this is the video that I put in there. But the only thing I think we haven't talked about in terms of the books is series. So when a book is a series, I have given you a series here. This is the Sylvia Avery Cozy Mystery series. You could add a new series, or you could, Just Joshin was there because we had the play and the book, and Through My Looking Glasses there because there were 2 books until I took the one out. You can add new series. They only show up on the front end if they're used, so don't worry if there's extras in there. I made this a recommended book. We talked about that, and this is book 1 in the series. And the reason that's relevant is because it tells you here that it's book 1. So people that are looking for the whole series can find it. They could also click here to the mystery series, and it'll show them the 4 books in the series. So that's kind of cool. Over here is your extensive blog navigation. Okay, back to here. Genre, it's Cozy Mystery, it's a Jen Bono book. So again, that's what's going to show up here. And you can make those be anything you want. If you don't like what I've chosen for them, you can make up new genre right here. And don't worry about mine, because if they're not checked, they won't show up. If you really want to clean this up or clean this up, you can go over here to genres or series, and it'll let you add and delete there. Here you can only add, but if you go over here, you can add or delete. Of course, it's important the author be you, which it will be automatically, because that's the only option at this point. I want the post author to also be you. And the display mode is storefront. That should come up automatically, but we want to double check that. If you want there to be a sidebar or not be a sidebar, you can select that. My rule of thumb is if it's a page, there's no sidebar, and if it's a blog entry, there is a sidebar, but kind of up to you. The slug is this. We already talked about that, but you can set it over here also if you'd rather not set it over here. Just different ways to do that. And by the way, if you don't like the order these things are in, you can drag them all around, make it yours. So you can also zip them up and down. So if there are things you just never want to look at, just zip them up and you don't have to look at them. Okay, I don't think I made any changes here, but so we're good there. Okay, is there anything else that we have to find you, the author. Two authors. And there's one of you, Jen Bono. I'm going to go to edit that and say they've been featured in 41 Chicken Soup books. I think everything else here is good. If not, you can go edit it. How do you like that? I made you the highest priority. If you do feature other authors on your site, I don't know why you would, but if you do feature other authors, you could make yourself a higher priority than them so your books show up first. Update button is here. As soon as I update it there and I refresh this page, now we'll see down here, wrong page, derp. Let's go pick a new page. Get down here to the author section, you'll see that 41 is updated. That you can change your photo there as well. So because this book is one in a series, it's showing the other books in the series down here at the bottom. That's why it was important when we were in the series to say that it was a series book and to say what book it was. That takes care of this. And it does keep them in the proper order, which is nice. Okay, I think that we have covered just about everything here that you're going to be needing to be doing. Oh, nope, we haven't. Sorry. Cart orders. There we go. That's kind of important. This is where your orders are going to show up. And we don't have any right now, but we talked about this the other day. You're just going to click on the order ID for what it is. It'll take you in and you'll see all the person's information. In fact, I strongly recommend that as soon as we get this launched back to your location, that you go in and go ahead and place an order for something yourself and check out with cash or something. Just, prove that the card is working properly, and so that you see what an order looks like. And give me a jingle if you have any questions about that. Okay, everything else is pretty much stuff I'm going to be doing for you at this point. When you get comfortable with what I've talked about already, we can talk about other things if you want to. But, not that page. We didn't talk about contact. It's pretty straightforward. It edits the same way. You enable the visual builder, you mouse over something, look for the gray box with the wheel, and you'll get in there. If your form needs to be more complicated, call me. Otherwise, the form's good. There's nothing for you to do there. So, yeah, everything else, call me. I'm happy to do it for you or teach you how at your preference. Boom. All right, I'm going to close this thing off. Congratulations on your new site.